welcome back to my channel. Today I bring you October's wrap-up. And I cannot believe that we are already on November and the year is almost over. We have 2 more months. It's still mind-boggling that we have just 2 more months to go for the year to end. But that's the truth, and well, we need to do the best that we can with these last couple of months of reading time that we have, and I intend to use them to the most of their ability and that I can do. And I've been reading a lot. I feel like I've been reading a lot. I've been on fire reading and I'm very happy with that. And it did definitely start on October, so let's see. But before we really get with the books of October, I forgot to add one book that I read to my September wrap-up. I don't know why I forgot about it. I think it's because it was the very last book that I read. I don't have any excuses other than I forgot about it, so I'm gonna be adding it right now. And this is the last book, comic, whatever that I read on September, and that is Rebel Jail by Jason Aaron. And this is the 3rd volume in the Star Wars comics that I've been reading. It's just really fun and breezy. Compared to the other ones, I think this is probably the funniest. It follows 2 different settings, I guess, but mostly it follows Leia, who went to the most secure prison that the rebels have to transport a recently captured prisoner and to help interrogate this prisoner. But while she is in the prison gets attacked, and now she has to also protect the prison and try to capture the person that is attacking and trying to kill the prisoners. So yeah, it becomes messy very fast and it's super action-packed in that area. I really enjoy that. I think it also adds a little bit of more complicated themes in there that I thought it was really nice to see, because I was not expecting it in the comic. And then you also have a more funny and silly set of things. You are following Han and Luke in a very innocuous escapade that they have. Really, it doesn't add a lot to the plot or anything, or overall plot. No, it doesn't. But it's just hilarious. Honestly, I thought it was really funny, and the contrast was funny and strangely fitting. So that was nice. I gave the book 3.5 stars. It was really easy to read, and I think it's probably one of my favorites of these volumes that I've been reading of the Star Wars, just because the contrast was really nice and seeing Leia in action was awesome. She's a complete badass. So yes. Then let's go into the books that I actually read in October, and the first thing I read in October was Sarah's Dream, which is the 1st volume in the Gremlin Sisters series, I guess. It's just a very easy breezy kind of comic, and it doesn't have a lot of plot. It's not that kind of comic. It's just a slice of life from the lives of the 3 sisters that we are following, which are the Gremlin Sisters. This one focuses on the oldest of the 3 little girls, and she is having these weird dreams that her subconscious is trying to tell her something, and there is a long ago buried family secret that they are trying to uncover at the same time that they are growing up and just living and being sisters. And I just really enjoy siblings interactions. I think that's one of the things that gets to me, and I just really love seeing it, and that's why I enjoy this comic so much. I think it's absolutely just there. It's not complicated or anything, it's incredibly simple, but it was really fun to read. The art is gorgeous. I just love the art. The illustrator did an amazing job, and the story is really nice as well. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. It's something I want to keep reading just to de-stress, I guess, because it really works in that. Then, getting more into the books that I read on October, we have Sky Hunter by Mary Lou, which is the 1st volume, the first book in the Sky Hunter series, duology, trilogy, I don't really know, but it's the first book in there, and I really wanted to read this book. I think it has been on my shelf since 2018 or something. So the moment it was out, I had to pick it up and read it, and I did. And it was an interesting experience. I truly enjoy Lu's writing. I think she writes beautifully, and it's very engrossing at the end of the day. So whatever it was, I was gonna enjoy the ride. And this is just really fun. It's a science fiction post-apocalyptic kind of book, and I, for some reason, really enjoy post-apocalyptic books. I don't know, it's kind of a morbid fascination, I guess, to see how the world will have survived after something catastrophic. But we don't really know what happened, if the people on Earth left Earth or if they died by some plague or other kind of catastrophe. We don't know, but we have these civilizations that form after that happened that are trying to survive with the vestiges that the old people of Earth left. So they are pretty underdeveloped, and we have the Federation, who is an empire that believes in the supremacy and their rightful right to be, you know, the ones that rule and that conquer everything, because they think that they are the rightful heirs of the elder ones, the first ones, the old people of Earth. And we also have Mara, which is the last free city in this continent at least. And that is where our focus is gonna be. In Mara, we have a Talon, who is a striker, a member of the elite group of warriors, soldiers that Mara has. They are the best of the best. They are trained to kill ghosts, which are the weapon most preferred by the Federation. Previous humans that were tortured and that were experimented on until they became these grotesque things, which also have poisonous bites, so you do not want to be bitten by a ghost. And they know how to fight them. It's very complicated because they have very sensible ears, so any kind of noise alerts them and kind of puts them into a frenzy and they go to kill. But they know how to not make any noise to be able to kill them. And she is one of them, and she is fighting to try to keep this country safe, but it's a losing battle because, you know, they're fighting against an empire and the resources are very limited and dwindling by the second. So they are in a very desperate battle where every single thing that they can use counts by a lot. And I love the idea that she is this warrior girl. I think that's so cool. And Lu knows how to write so cool female protagonists and characters that feel very, very awesome. And I also really love the whole culture of Mara and the whole world building. It was solidly done and so engrossing, so beautifully. And you know, Mara is the last free city, but that doesn't mean that this place is perfect or idyllic by any chances. The book deals a lot with racism, social injustices, mutism, and another few very heavy things that go with them. And Lu wrote them very realistically, rawly, and that made it so hard to read because at the beginning I was not expecting it, and just encountering it in such a bracing kind of way, so naturally, and just a part of the culture and the society that they are living in, it was really hard to swallow it. I definitely needed to lay back and just try to cool myself off because I got so angry and I felt so useless in the situation. It was just really hard at the beginning, so the beginning was very slow going for me because of that. It's just really well done, and it's just, I don't know, it feels like it's just woven so naturally into this world, and that's something I can truly appreciate. But did you know, the world building is amazing, and one of the things I truly love, because both the Federation and Mara as nations feel like their own entities, which they are, and I truly enjoy that. But the characters, interactions and dynamics is the thing that blew me away because it's so beautiful. Oh my god, I cannot even describe how beautiful their relationships, interactions are. So pure, so deep, and and warm and powerful, and I just really love that, how they band together and in these very complicated situations they just rise above it and do all these amazing things. I loved it. I could live by it. And then you of course have the whole Sky Hunters thing, which is sadly the thing that I did not enjoy about the book. It is the main focus of the book. It is called a Sky Hunter. The series is called a Sky Hunter. So it is very, very central to the story, but to me it just felt off, like it was ruining the book at the beginning, and then at the end when it gets a little more explained, I guess, and everything, I enjoyed it more, but it still felt off. I just think that Lou didn't manage to quite reach the level she wanted with it. It just felt uncomfortable, like it wasn't fitting just right, like when you try to put a jigsaw puzzle piece in a place where it doesn't go, and it doesn't matter how much you ram it into it, it won't fit. So it felt like that to me, which is just sad. And then you have the ending, which I love the first part of the ending. I feel like it was very intense and everything I wanted, and it was so surprising, and it was also very daring, I think, because it's not at all what I expected of the book. And then after you have that very high note, the book ends in a very flat kind of note, something that it was pretty obvious was gonna happen, ends up happening, and it just felt really flat. I feel like the book would have gone a little bit better if it had ended in that very high note, and then that flat-ish note was the beginning of the next book. I think that would have worked a little bit better to manage all expectations and everything. But that's just me. I did like the book. I gave it a solid 3.75 stars, as solid as that can be. But definitely has things that could have improved for me to love it, absolutely. But it was nice. Then I read Brother's Son by T.A. Klum, which is the last book in the Green Creek series. I already talked quite a bit about this series and the book in another video that I already uploaded, so I'm gonna leave the link down below and over here so you can go check it out if you want to see a more in-depth kind of review about the whole series and the book. But I did enjoy it. I cannot tell a lot about it because it's the last book in the series, but those follow the whole journey of Ox and his encounter with this supernatural side of life and all the things that come with it, which is just life and a lot of other hardships. It has werewolves, it has magic, and a lot of cute romances, so you can enjoy that. And this book was just perfect in its ending. I am not gonna get tired of saying that. It was the perfect ending for the series, and it was very nostalgic, very bittersweet, and I felt so many emotions warring inside me while I was reading those final words. But it was the perfect ending for everything that was going on, so I'm very, very happy and satisfied with that. And yeah, this book focuses a lot more than in the romance, well, not a lot more, but it focuses a little more in the sibling brotherly relationships. It is called Brother's Son. The romance does have enough, I think, of time to be developed and to have page time and everything. I feel like it was very well lightened on up and portrayed, that it was perfect for that. But it does highlight more the brotherly love, which I am all for it, and I just really love. I loved so much through the book because it has the most hilarious little parts, but I also cried non-stop towards the ending. Literally, I couldn't breathe because I was just crying and crying and crying, because again, it's the last book in the series. So it was super emotional to me, and it also compounds all the feelings for the series. So I was a mess. I was a mess when I finished the book. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars, as I gave, I think, pretty much every book in the series. I really like the series, and I think that if you like supernatural things, you should definitely go read it because it's just so good. And then to end the month, I read The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan, the last book in the Trials of Apollo series. And I'm also pretty sure it's the last book in the Percy Jackson world, if I have my facts right, which just makes me really sad, honestly, but it was such a fun book. It was such a nice and fitting way to end the series, to end this crazy journey. I absolutely loved it. I love Apollo's journey. The whole thing with the Trials of Apollo is that the god Apollo got punished after his part to play in the last war that we see, the Heroes of Olympus. And now Zeus is sending him to Earth as a pony human to complete a series of quests that he needs to fix and right his wrongs, and he needs to liberate the oracles for and open communications between demigods and between the gods and the demigods in order to regain his godliness and his divinity. So he's sent to Earth as Lester Papadopoulos, which is just a name to have. And when he gets to Earth, he encounters his new master, which is just basically the first person that he sees or that sees him upon his arrival on Earth. And this is little Meg McCaffrey, a daughter of the Meteor with a very interesting past. And they're gonna go in a series of adventures, liberating oracles and just completing his quest to regain his godliness. But Apollo's personal journey, it's the thing that I love the most about everything else, because it was just so nice. I love personal journeys that are complicated and that are very deep going and that just change a character very much, but like in a very comprehensible and nice way. I love it, and I think Riordan really did justice to the whole thing with Apollo. And also the series treats a very sensible issue, which is abusive relationships, which was really fun to read. But I think that even though it goes through the whole series, it's probably a little more highlighted in this last book, which I love it because it's so complicated, and Riordan managed to make it easy to understand to children because it is a middle grade book. So the way that he did it was very satisfactory to me, an adult, and also I think very understandable to children for them to understand it and to realize what this all is and how it affects everything. And I don't know, it just made my heart wrench and be squeezed tight and feel very warm and very happy. And yeah, that's probably the moments that brought tears to my eyes, just seeing this wonderful transformation in Apollo and this journey with all that is abusive relationships and how it's dealt with. Love it, love it, love it. The book, it's very funny, which is I think a trademark of Riordan by this point. His books are funny and sassy and very sarcastic, which follows here. I love it, it was really fun, but it also is very action-packed. There is probably not a moment where something very intense isn't happening, and I enjoyed that a lot because it is the last book. There is a lot of things to cover in this last book, and most of them were accomplished wonderfully and very intensely, and I think it just did it justice to that first part at least, because the last part of the journey, the last part of Apollo's quest, I don't know, it felt really rushed, that very ending part. I feel like it needed a little bit more of content, of time, but I don't know, it wasn't terrible, just a little rush. I'm still pretty happy with how it turned out, so yeah. And yeah, the last book was just really intense and I really enjoyed that. I think that I'm realizing that Apollo may be my new favorite Percy Jackson character just because of his journey, and also he is very dramatic, and I'm a very dramatic person, so I think we're very compatible. And that was just nice to read. It's just always nice to encounter another drama queen. And yeah, the ending was I would say bittersweet, but I wouldn't also say bittersweet. It was a little sad because it is the ending, but it also felt very right and like it was time to do it. So I feel like it was more happy and more complete than anything else. I enjoyed it a lot. I gave it 4.75 stars just because of that ending, not the 5 stars. But yeah, I think that if you enjoy a good dive into the feelings, this is definitely a series that you will enjoy because it does it lightly but deeply. And that is my October wrap up. I'm very happy that I got to read a bunch of the books that were released in that month and that I really wanted to get to read, because I honestly thought it will take me a little bit more time to get to some of them, but I managed it and I am so happy right now. And I'm very proud of myself as well because I read a lot, all things considered. I read a lot, even if Sky Hunter put me in a bit of a reading slump. I powered through it and I actually got out of it very fast and just enjoyed my next read a lot. Let me know down below, how was your October reading month? Did you read a lot of spooky kind of books? Because I never really read because of a season. I just read because of I want to read this book, not because of the season. But do you read by season? Something specific? Did you enjoy your October reads? Let me know down below. I'm very eager to know. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. And click the little bell icon if you haven't already to get notified every time I post a new video. I have my social media where you can follow me, which are Goodreads and Instagram, where you can follow me and we can chat a little bit more. And yeah, that's everything for this video and I'll see you next week. Bye!